Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mainstream Indie Music channel. We have a new series on this channel. I'm going to get into the specifics of that series right now. I promise you I won't bore you to death with it, but it's just kind of a cool thing. You know, it's going to be just like a news segment. It's not going to be like on a weekly rotation or anything. It'll just be whenever there starts to, I wouldn't even say unless it's a massive, huge indie announcement, like a death or a band breaking up or something like that. If it's barring anything like that, I'm going to kind of wait for like music news to kind of gather a little bit and then kind of deliver it all at once, like in today's episode. Because some of the news on today's episode is a little older. I wouldn't say it's like super recent, but it's at least been within the last couple of months. The very first one, as you can obviously see from the picture or from the thumbnail, is the reunion of Oasis. Yes, definitely, I would not say Oasis is an indie band by any means, but it's just kind of the implications of their reunion, kind of what it means to the music landscape. And honestly, it's something that I might make a follow-up video to a video I just had like a few, not overusing the word video, a few videos ago, where time and again I have predicted that there is a hole in the music industry right now. And honestly, Oasis coming back and pretty much dominating the music scene literally has proved the point. You know, they come out of retirement, they come back, and just because there's just really nothing going on, I mean, you know, heck, if you think about it, the biggest thing that's happened to music in the last 5 years was Kendrick and Drake. You know, so now Oasis coming back and just absolutely crushing their opening show starting this last weekend was amazing. It's really interesting because when you look at their set list, it's literally a set list from like the mid-90s. You know, I've personally been listening to one of their live concerts from like 96 on Spotify, and it's almost like song for song what they're playing now, which makes me think, like, I wonder why they aren't playing like their newer music, especially the music they made in the 2000s. Merely makes me think, but I mean, you can't ask for anything better. You know, Acquiesce was one of their first songs on the show. And then they end it with the three major hitters, you know, Don't Look Back in Anger, Wonderwall, and Champagne Supernova, with Live Forever played to close out before the encore. You know, you can't ask anything better if you're an Oasis fan. So props to Oasis. They're back now and better than ever. Now, moving on to the next item of news. This is really interesting because, as you know, on this channel, I really like to cover pop punk. Is along with indie, that was kind of just what I grew up on. And it seems like a lot of you guys, too, kind of followed suit. One of them was the All-American Rejects. Now, what they are doing lately, and especially over the beginning summer month, like June, and then I think even in May, was they were doing pop-up shows in like college campuses' backyards. You know, like they would find like a place to set up and they would literally start playing. They would play in bowling alleys. They would play in the most random spots that they could all across, I think especially the Midwest. They might have gone east a little bit as well. But all of it is in preparation for a new album. They have a few hits like Sandbox and Easy Come, Easy Go, which have been released so far. And the last time they even released music overall was in 2011, and that was kind of to their critically panned and not really well-received album, Kids in the Street, which is really where the All-American Rejects kind of took a step back and realized, you know, all they'd been doing since they first initially started as a band was that same cycle of, you know, write new music, release it, tour for it, and then right back again. So they finally stopped, but instead of going on a short hiatus, like I said, it's been almost 15 years then that they have done anything really musically related. It might be a little less than that, but you know what I'm getting at here. So major props to the All-American Rejects, trying something new, you know, trying something creative, and we will definitely see what happens when they release their new album, I think in the early fall. Speaking of new albums, there are a plethora of them that are coming out in the pop punk scene. A few of the bands we have talked about on this channel, but one of them is the band Motion City Soundtrack. And this theory that I talked about is kind of a running theme throughout. That hole in music. I mean, once again, you got all these bands that are suddenly looking around and are like, hey, wait a minute, we should release new music and tour again. You know, I feel like there's a calling for it. And Motion City, just like All American Rejects, has answered that calling. Very similar to them, one of their last albums was done all the way back in, I believe, 2015. And it was the album Panic Stations. There were a few lineup changes to that album, and I think they were a little bit hesitant, but they went forward with it, and after a little break, they're back this fall. Speaking of another band that has released new music lately, Good Charlotte is another one of them. Now, unlike the previous two bands, Good Charlotte has somewhat released music on their own in the last, I wouldn't say the last few years, but it wasn't like Motion City and All American Rejects where it's been like 10 plus years, but it's pretty close. They released albums in 2016 and 2018, but they were not well known, probably just known to their fans. And definitely, you know, since their peak in the early 2000s, it kind of seemed like they were just going to settle into that kind of whole, you know, like, hey, we used to be a big thing. We're not anymore, but that's okay. We got a good fan base, and we're just going to tour and kind of cater to our fans. But lo and behold, so that would make it about 7 years. This next month, they're going to release a new album as well. So stay tuned for that. And one of the last bands that we're going to talk about today in the news is Yellowcard. Now, they last released a self-named album back in 2016. And then ever since, they've done a re-release and they've done kind of like a remix and collaboration of old songs. But 2016 was the last time that they actually released new music. And lo and behold, again, here they are releasing an album that is coming out later this fall. I believe it's in October, called Better Days. So, you know, once again, Yellowcard steps in, and hey, just like the pop punk bands that I just mentioned, they are ready to roll. You know, they're ready to try this out, go on tour again. And not only go on tour just kind of playing their old songs, but trying out new ones. You know, so that's what I got for the news this episode, really. What do y'all think of all the comebacks of all these groups? Let me know, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.